Hello there guys, welcome to another my live video. So this is your Manchester United versus Brighton of Albion preview at Old Trafford Sunday 2 o'clock kick-off, and it is our 12th game of the Premier League season. So on this current video, I am going to give you some team news building up to the game. Also, we're going to give you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference. I'm going to interpret some of the stuff that he had currently mentioned. So I have just watched some of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference. Obviously throughout the press conference he had praised Mason Greenwood. Obviously he said that Mason Greenwood will have a good career. He did also say that it's sometimes the right time to rest Mason Greenwood in certain games, and he does have a lot of faith in him. And he also said that Mason Greenwood's finishing does remind him of Robin van Persie. This is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had said. But he says he is learning man's game. So he did say quite a few interesting stuff about Mason Greenwood. He obviously we've won more games in the cup than we have in the league. So Solskjaer did say towards the back end of the press conference that obviously our league form does need to improve, because so far we've only won 3 games in the league out of our first 11 and that. So obviously things do need to improve. With Mason Greenwood though, obviously he scored his 3rd senior goal for Manchester United in the 3-0 win against Partizan Belgrade. So, and like I mentioned recently, like I mentioned today earlier on in one of my videos, Paul Scholes had give his own perception on Manchester United, and he actually believes that Mason Greenwood will eventually become a better goal scorer than Marcus Rashford. And actually Paul Scholes has given Ole Gunnar Solskjaer his best lineup. So I think Paul Scholes has got a 4 attacking minded system. I think his formations like the 4-1-4-1 or something like that. But he obviously has included Mason Greenwood in the team. But yeah, it was a very, very good performance against Partizan Belgrade. Obviously, you did see a match reaction this morning, obviously, to the game, and that, it was a very, very good performance for Man United, and you could say that's one of our best performances of the season in all competitions. I've got to say it's one of the best performances I've seen at Old Trafford for a very, very long time. Obviously it was goals from Greenwood. Obviously Rashford has scored, also provided an assist. Also, Anthony Martial had scored. And, I've also been very, very impressed with Marcus Rashford recently, because I do believe that he has rejuvenated himself, because, I said, I have been criticising for the vast majority of this season, but I've got to be honest, he has really rejuvenated himself recently. Now Rashford has scored 53 goals for the football club in all competitions. He has done really, really well. But I still said, during Rashford's long bad spell, that he's still the long-term solution for Manchester United. With Anthony Martial, since he's come back from injury, he's done really, really well. He's scored 3 goals since he recovered from injury. But we do know that anywhere he adds more inspiration in that attacking third of the pitch. So yeah, he's done really, really well. Obviously, Solskjaer did confirm throughout the press conference that obviously, that he had obviously arrested Daniel James, because Solskjaer believes that he's been overplaying Daniel James, which he has. I think Daniel James so far this season has played around 18 games for club and country. Obviously, 15 of those appearances he has made for Manchester United. So Solskjaer does believe that he's been overplaying him. So obviously he's been concerned about his fatigue at Manchester United. But Daniel James has done really, really well. He has done really, really well. I think he's settled in very, very well at Manchester United. He settled in really, really well at Manchester United. Obviously, there's still probably some aspects of his game, that he does need to improve on. Like I said, you could still say as a prospect, and he needs time to develop. Maybe his crossing that needs to improve, and maybe he needs to track back a bit better. But I think prior to that, he has done really, really well. But yeah, he did currently get rested, but may play in the game on Sunday against Brighton. Obviously, Solskjaer didn't really provide, a lot of team news in that. I think he has confirmed that Harry Maguire, should be available for Sunday. Obviously, Harry Maguire did play in the game yesterday, but obviously he had sustained a knock, but I don't think the knock is too severe, so he should be okay. Obviously, Scott McTominay, he came off, injured in the game yesterday. So he did actually say, according to recent reports, that McTominay could actually now miss the game. And McTominay, I know he's not a world class midfielder, but he's done really really well this season for Manchester United, and he has been first team regular, and he has deserved to keep his place in the team as McTominay. But yeah, he could miss this game. I think we'll know more of regarding the team news, I do believe tomorrow. With Victor Lindelof, he obviously missed the game yesterday because he sustained a knock in the 2-1 win against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup. But I think we are hopeful that Lindelof and McTominay can play on Sunday. Obviously, as Solskjaer confirmed not too long ago that Luke Shaw, Alex Tuanzebe, and Nemanja Matic will not be back in action until after the international break. We do know obviously that Paul Pogba is out over an ankle injury. Solskjaer obviously confirmed he's out until December, because obviously Paul Pogba's injury is obviously more severe than we first feared. But Paul Pogba has been a big miss in that midfield, because we do know when he's in good form, he does make a difference in that midfield. But Solskjaer did reveal not too long ago that Fred, will take Paul Pogba's position for a while. I would give Fred more time at the football club. Because I think we've seen glimpses of how good he can be this season. I think quite recently he has blended in alongside McTominay in our midfield well. I will agree on the aspect, Manchester United did overpay for him. We paid, just under £50 million for the player. But I would give him more time at the club, because, he's only been here since last summer. But, he hasn't really replicated at Man United, what he did do at Shakhtar Donetsk, because he was actually an exceptional player at Shakhtar Donetsk and that. But Solskjaer for this game against Brighton, I think will make a lot of alterations in the squad. Obviously, did rest key players yesterday. Obviously, for the Brighton game on Sunday. But obviously, Solskjaer sees like the Carabao Cup and the Europa League as more of a chance, to give the young ones more opportunities, and obviously now gain more experience. One thing I do want to confirm as well, that Ashley Young suspended because he got his fifth booking in the 1-0 defeat to Bournemouth last week. So, I do probably believe now that Brandon Williams could start this game. So too, could Rojo. They could be operating on both of the flanks, because, like I said, Rojo's predominantly centre-back, but he can also play as a full-back, and Brandon Williams is predominantly, a left-back. But, I think we should start Brandon Williams in this game, because I think, Brandon Williams has done really, really well. And I said, reflect on his impressive performances anywhere, he would earn more first-team promotions at Manchester United. And I think a lot of Manchester United fans do believe now he's a much better solution than Luke Shaw, despite the fact, that Luke Shaw is our first-choice left-back. But obviously, Luke Shaw hasn't played since the 2-1 home defeat to Crystal Palace, because obviously, he's been out over hamstring injury. So possibly it could be Rojo and Brandon Williams, operating at them full-back positions. James Garner, he came on in the game against Partizan Belgrade. James Garner, in the games I've seen him playing, he has done quite well. But I haven't really got a perception yet on James Garner, because I haven't really, seen him play enough, to give him a perception on him. But I thought he did well on his full debut in the 1-0 win against Partizan Belgrade. But, we've obviously got Eric Bailly out until the end of the year. Also, Fosu Mensah is still out with injury. But we do expect to see more players back from injury after the international break. But, this is a game Manchester United should win against Brighton. Obviously Brighton are sitting 8th in the league at the moment. They are 2 points above Man United. Obviously, the fixture last season at Old Trafford was 2-1. Obviously, Brighton have beaten us the last 2 times at the Amex Stadium. We lost 3-2 there last season. Obviously, we lost we lost 1-0, the season there before. But, Man United, should definitely win this game and that. Solskjaer probably, more than likely will stick with a 4-2-3-1 formation because we do know he's been going that 4-2-3-1 formation on a regular basis this season. He has been going with that 4-2-3-1 formation, and we do know that, it hasn't been really working. I did say, during that 4-game period where Man United did really, really well, obviously for the vast majority of that 4-game period, we actually, changed the formation and, we went with 3 at the back. And you could arguably say we looked better with 3 at the back. So in that 4-game period, I do definitely believe we showed a lot of tactical flexibility. And I did credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for that. I did credit him for that. But I thought, there has actually been some good performances this season. We do know for the vast majority of this season it's been very, very poor, but I thought it was a very, very good performance against Partizan Belgrade. We created a lot of chances. We scored 3 good goals. It actually, could have been more than 3-0. We showed a lot of tenacity. The fullbacks were bombarding forward. We had a lot of the possession and that. But we do need to see that on a regular basis. And Solskjaer recently did say that, he's challenging Man United, to replicate that attacking form we showed there yesterday on a regular basis, so we can improve and, we can start building momentum and that. And this is what Manchester United need to do. But I thought we also did very, very well in the game against Liverpool. We drew 1-1 with them. We're the only team this season to take many points from Liverpool. We also did really, really well in the game against Norwich. And I think analysing that, that's our best performance in the Premier League this season. And, we also, did very, very well in the Chelsea game in the Carabao Cup. But obviously it was, back to square one. Obviously, when we lost to Bournemouth last week, it was an abysmal performance against Bournemouth. Maybe some aspects of the game we did quite well in that. We dominated the possession and we had some decent chances, but we just wasn't clinical enough in front of goal. But I actually do believe that, the players reacted really, really well yesterday from the 1-0 defeat to Bournemouth. So I am very, very happy about that. But, for the vast majority of this season anyway, I have been criticising Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactics because for the vast majority of this season, Solskjaer has been tactically naive. Obviously, some of his substitutions have been questionable. Obviously, these question marks around him, why isn't he yet started Mason Greenwood from the start in the Premier League? Is obviously an option, for that right wing. Obviously, you can also play Mason Greenwood in that number 9, like he was saying, in his press conference. There's also question marks around him, why does he keep playing Ashley Young on a regular basis? Because, like I said, Ashley Young has passed his sell-by date. He's 34. I think he is 35 next year. And I think it was a bad mistake from the football club last season, giving him that new 1-year extension. Young's been a long-serving player at Manchester United. He's been here 8 years. He's now into his 9th season at the football club. But you've got to say this has got to be his last season now at Manchester United. But the good news is I know we've got to our form and that's got to improve in the league and we need to start getting more points in that and the performances have got to improve. But the positives you can take into account are that within the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup, we're also now have progressed into the knockouts of the Europa League. And like I did say, I think that's our only route now to getting into the Champions League is obviously progressing in the Europa League, because I don't think we're gonna get into the Champions League by getting in that top 4 because we're not going to get in. I don't think we're going to get top 4 this season. I fully disregarded that top 4 because we are at the moment 10 points behind top 4. We are 18 points behind Liverpool, and I did say at the start of this season that our expectations this season will be to finish in that top 4. So in that aspect, we can get back into the Champions League, and that means we can create a platform, and obviously it does give us something to build on. Solskjaer's obviously fully disregarded us, challenging or winning the league. He's admitted that Manchester United are too far behind. But I did actually assure them at the start of this season. Despite the free signings that were recommended into the football club during the summer. I did, say that, Man United, will not win the league this season. We won't mount any kind of title challenge up because analysing our squad at the moment, it isn't good enough. So I do actually believe our aspirations will be that top four in the next couple of seasons. I think, we can be future title contenders, if we can, see a variety of changes at Manchester United. Plus, if we can, recommend the right calibre players to the football club next year, because a massive rebuild is needed at Manchester United, as you all know. I still believe, these players here now that are no longer good enough to represent the football club. I think we need to, get rid of at least another 4 or 5 more players next year. But I think, from my own perception, we need at least 5 to 6 more signings if we are to be back to being a competitively level football club. But we have got to win this game on Sunday, because, you can quite frankly say at the moment, we are facing a relegation battle, because, what, we're only like 3 or 4 points off relegation. But yeah, we've got to start winning more games in the Premier League. We've also got to start scoring more goals. And that's been an element of concern. We haven't been scoring enough goals this season, especially in the Premier League. We haven't, been, creating chances, to the extent as we should be. We've been struggling to create chances in a lot of games this season. This probably explains why we haven't been scoring enough goals. And in that aspect, that replicates some of last season, because last season, where we didn't score enough goals. But quite frankly, you can say, there is still deficiencies in the squad that do need to be addressed. We definitely need to recruit a midfielder in next year, because we do need to recruit a replacement for Ander Herrera, basically. Some people believe we need 2 central midfielders. We definitely need a striker. Some people believe we need 2 attackers, but we definitely need someone to come in who can be more effective in the box, someone who's got that end product, and someone who can assure Manchester United goals, because we do look very exposed in that attacking line following the departures of Ronald Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez. But the good news is that recently Rashford's rejuvenated himself, Martial's regained form since he's come back from injury, but we do need to add more experience in that attacking line. But I think Solskjaer's got a variety of players on his agenda, who we would like to recommend into the football club next year. I think he's keen on continuing the policy of recruiting young British players, like he did do during the course of the summer. But like I said, anyway, our recruitment has definitely got to improve in the next it's got to improve overall, because our recruitment hasn't only been poor recently, it's been very, very poor for several years. And I think in that aspect, the blame stems from the board. But I think the board, you can say, are accountable for quite a few things. And this is why I did say, we need to recommend our current board out, and we need to recommend a new board in. And also, the board didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough during the course of the summer. And I did say, the board do need to assure structural changes at Manchester United, and whether they can do this or not, I do not know. But they've been a liability for several years. I also have the same perception on Ed Woodward, because Ed Woodward is compatible to the board. Ed Woodward is also a liability, because he's not reliable to oversee our transfer business. Obviously, for the vast majority of this season as well, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been accountable for our bad results and our bad performances. And quite a lot of the players you can also blame. So I do believe the blame is a current mixture, but definitely the recruitment has got to improve, because the depth in the squad at the moment isn't good enough. I think analysing our team, it's definitely not good enough for the top 4 finish, but it isn't good enough to currently win the league. So I think, from my perception, we'll do the vast majority of our transfer business next summer. So we'll look to get at least 1 signing in January, or maybe 2, but we'll do the vast majority of our transfer business next summer. But Solskjaer recently admitted that he's pessimistic about January signings, but I think he's actually addressed his plans for January. I think he's got around 5 players on his current agenda, who he's interested, in recommending into the football club. But you can still say Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United squad, because analysing the majority of this squad, it isn't Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's anywhere. So there's only 3 players there that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, and I do credit him for that. there's quite a few aspects of me that do credit Solskjaer. He did recommend 3 good players to the squad during this summer. He's also got a lot of trust with him and his young upcoming players. And he's also, got a lot of honesty about him. He isn't in denial. Obviously, he has been aware of the, of the circumstances, this season, which is, obviously, very, very good. But in January, we definitely, we'll address all the problematic areas. We'll look to address some of the problematic areas, but we won't address all of the problematic areas. But at least during this summer, we got that experienced centre half in, and we also got that right back in. But Wan-Bissaka, you could probably say has been our most consistent signing. To be quite honest with you, you can say Harry Maguire has addressed our defensive deficiencies. So I do believe we look slightly better defensively. But yeah, and. But we know we have enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 3 decades. But despite our disastrous start to the season, Ed Woodward has recently given his sack verdict on Solskjaer, and he has assured that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job, is safe for now. So Ed Woodward insists he's still 100% backing him. Solskjaer's obviously got the same perceptions because he insists he's still the right manager to elevate Manchester United forward and that. Like I did recently mention, I think Man United have made several mistakes in the last 6 or 7 years, and you could say one of the recent mistakes was obviously giving Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job. We should have never given him the job. We should have waited until the end of last season, or we should have waited at some point until this season, to decide or not whether to give him the job. He will stay at Manchester United for this present time. He could, stay here for this season, but I can definitely assure that he won't see out his 3-year contract, because Solskjaer had been giving him a 3-year contract when he had got the job permanently, back in March. But I do feel sorry for him in a way, because I think the club have put him in a very, very difficult position. I still believe he's under intense pressure at the club, regardless of yesterday's result, because I think the pressure's now back on him, reflecting on the 1-0 defeat to Bournemouth last week. But he also was under pressure, before the Liverpool game. He was under a lot of intense pressure. So you could arguably say them, 4 games before the Bournemouth game, you could say, that saved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure at the football club. But I do believe, we will stick with him for now. I know there's been a list of managers on our agenda, who could replace him at the football club. Like I did recently, give you an update on. Obviously, there's been quite a there's been quite a few former Man United players in that linked with the director's role at the football club, and I think we do need a director of football, because I did say anywhere that's one of the structural changes that we do need at the football club. And during the summer, there was quite a few former Manchester United players linked with that director's role. Obviously there was talks of Ferdinand coming in, Evra, Darren Fletcher, and that. Obviously there was speculation about Edwin van der Sar the other week. Obviously, there has been recent reports, as I did update you quite recently, about Ralph Ragnick, who's currently head of sport and development at Red Bull. Reportedly now he's linked with a vacant director's role at Manchester United. There's also been talks about him possibly, getting the managerial role at Manchester United to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He said reportedly Man United had travelled to Germany for a meeting with Ralph Ragnick. Ed Woodward, of course, had scheduled the meeting, because Ed Woodward is obviously looking to recruit a director of football at Man United. But I did say, we've got to get someone in, who knows the traditions of the club, someone who would be obviously reliable to oversee our transfer business, and someone who has obviously got the right philosophy for the club, and someone who would be able to, recruit the right calibre players for Manchester United and that. But we definitely do need a director of football. I also believe that our coaching staff isn't good enough. I don't think, Solskjaer is good enough. Like I recently mentioned, there's still players here that are not good enough. So these are the changes we need to see at Manchester United. But I think, the only reason, we're sticking with Solskjaer anywhere at this present time is because he's a club legend. He's a club legend, he was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years. He flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance in that, and he has got that proven pedigree as a player. But um, disregarding him being a club legend and that, and if it had been any other manager, then you could arguably say there would have probably been sacked by now, because obviously managers don't get the time that they would like, basically. But for me, Solskjaer, despite the fact that he knows the culture and that of the football club, he just hasn't got any intuition on how and how to manage, and especially to manage a big football club like Manchester United and that, because he just hasn't really got that managerial experience to the highest level. Because obviously before he came to Man United, he was at Mould. Obviously, before he was at Mould, he had a really short tenure with Cardiff, and obviously, he ended up getting Cardiff relegated. He only managed around 29 or 30 games for Cardiff, but he got sacked from Cardiff because he ended up getting them relegated. And certain Man United fans fear now, if he is to stay for this season, he can replicate at Manchester United what he did do with Cardiff. Basically. He just isn't good enough for Manchester United. And, even though we won comfortably yesterday and we put a really, really good performance out, it doesn't change my perceptions, regarding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. I understand, the scenario that, we haven't got the structure, to keep sacking managers and that, because obviously, Solskjaer is our fourth permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. 3 managers have already been sacked since the Ferguson era. David Moyes left after 10 months. Obviously, Van Gaal left just after a year and a half, I think it was, or something like that, despite the fact he won the FA Cup. And also, Jose Mourinho got sacked after he enjoyed a 2.5 year tenure at the football club. But either way, we still love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot. But, he hasn't been here that long. He's only been here overall for around 11 months, because he joined, he got recommended into the football club in December of last year, following the dismissal of Jose Mourinho. Obviously, Solskjaer at the first was the interim manager of the club. Obviously, he did really, really well whilst he was interim manager. He exceeded expectations, and the results and the performances were good. But my perceptions, obviously, regarding Solskjaer were different in that 3-month period, because I thought then he was the right man to elevate Manchester United forward. But since he has got the job permanently, everything has just seemed to have all gone wrong. So he's enjoyed a difficult 8 months or so as being permanent manager, mainly. So, you're still getting certain Man United fans saying that, we should still give him more time at the football club. We should still give him at least a couple more windows, to see who else he can recommend to the football club. But I think, I can see Man United's point of view, why we recommended Solskjaer in the first place. Is probably because, we saw that he knows the traditions of the club. He was also a cheap solution. We didn't really pay that much to recommend him in from Mould. But obviously after the sacking of, Jose Mourinho, we obviously had quite a lot of managers on our agenda. We had Zinedine Zidane on our agenda. We had Mauricio Pochettino on our agenda. But for me, he just isn't the right man for Manchester United, and that's all there is to it, basically. He just isn't the right man, and that's really it. And reflecting on the size and the potential of this football club, we should be in much more of a commanding position, than winning now. Plus, reflecting on the amount of money that's been invested into the football club, in all the managerial areas, since the Ferguson era, we spent around an estimated guess, I think it's around £700-800 million on players. Also, we have got players on big contracts, so we'll also, take that into account and that. But a lot of money has been invested into the football club. And, we have been a toxic club anywhere for the last 6 or 7 years. But I don't like the way the football club's been run anywhere in the last 6 or 7 years. I think Solskjaer is compatible to Alex Ferguson in the aspect of obviously recruiting young players, because obviously back under the Ferguson era, Ferguson developed a lot of young players, and he controlled a lot of transfer policies, he controlled a lot of the contracts and that. And Ferguson, we enjoyed 26 success, around 20 odd years success under Alex Ferguson, but take into account as well, Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years at Manchester United and that, so it did take him, time to settle in. But obviously back in the old generation, managers got the time that obviously they would currently like. I don't think we'll ever be the team that was under Ferguson, and I can definitely assure that Solskjaer can't invoke Ferguson's legacy to save him at Manchester United. So I can definitely assure that. But we haven't won the Premier League for nearly 7 years now. The last time we did win it obviously was back under the back in under Alex Ferguson's last season and that. So the last time we won it was back in 2013. Obviously I don't think we'll win it for at least the next 2 to 3 years, depending on how our recruitment is in the next couple of windows, like I mentioned. And because obviously at the moment anyway, City are strides ahead of us. Liverpool, of course, are strides ahead of us. So, we have got a lot of catching up to do. But obviously things aren't going to be addressed, in, a short period of time. Obviously, it is obviously going to take a long time, to fix things at Manchester United. Don't forget as well, we are in transition. Solskjaer admitted, that the club's transition has been very, very difficult. And I think, we could be in transition for quite some time, and that. But, mate, Solskjaer has tried, quite a few different elements, to try, turn things around at Man United. Like I mentioned, he's, tried putting players in, other positions. He's obviously, tried, different formations, and, he's tried a few different things. But obviously this season anyway, he's had no alternative but to make alterations in the squad, affecting him on the injuries, where we've currently had. But, I think Scholes is, line best 11, obviously, was including, the team, obviously, when all the players are fit and that. But we do expect more players to be back anywhere after the international break, which is obviously, very, very good news. Yeah, so like I said, I think we're orchestrating on, recommending a forward in January and that. And like I said to you, it's very, very probable that we're going to sign Mario Mandzukic in January. That's looking very, very likely. The good news is that he is a good player. I think he is probably the right caliber player for Man United. Plus, he's a cheap solution. I think Juventus only want around 9 or 10 million pounds for him. The only element of concern I've got about us recommending him in is that obviously he is 33 years of age. So you can quite frankly say he's only got a couple of years left in his footballing career as Mario Mandzukic. But obviously it's very probable he's going to leave Juventus in January, because obviously Serbi served two requirements at Juventus, because, since Maurizio Sarri got recommended in, obviously Mario Mandzukic hasn't played a single minute of, football under his guidance as far as I'm aware of anywhere. But I think if he came to Man United, he can definitely replicate, what he's done for Juventus. He can replicate at Man United, what he has, produced at Juventus. For Juventus, he has scored 44 goals in 162 games in all competitions. But we did inquire about getting Mario Mandzukic towards the back end of the summer transfer window, anywhere. So you could say he's going to be our first signing in January. He's going to be our fourth signing overall under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. But he's a good replacement for Lukaku and Sanchez, but he isn't obviously a long-term replacement. Moussa Dembele is also another player on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's agenda. Again, I think he would be the right caliber player for Manchester United. I probably am aware that Moussa Dembele is going to cost the club a substantial amount of money. I think the beneficial thing about recommending Moussa Dembele is that, he's already played in the Premier League when he was younger, because he began his senior career with Fulham. He enjoyed quite a few good years with Fulham. Obviously then went on to have a good couple of years in Scotland with Celtic. Now, obviously, he's enjoying a great time with Leon, because he's in now his second season there with Leon. So if he did come to Man United, I think he could replicate at Man United. What he's done at all them teams. And he is only 23 years of age, and Moussa Dembele is now number 9. He's still got quite a few years left on his contract with Leon. He is under contract then until 2023. But he can create chances. He can score goals. Can Moussa Dembele. But yeah, another player on our agenda. Obviously, there's still talks about Erling Haaland going on. I haven't read up about Erling Haaland quite recently, but he's obviously another striker. Obviously, he's got obviously now he's gained more experience in the Champions League, because Erling Haaland has been scoring goals in the Champions League recently. He hasn't really been at I think he's at Red Bull Salzburg, is it? He hasn't been there too long. Actually reports were speculating out the other week, the last time I read up about it. There was actually quite a few narratives about it saying that, Napoli expected Man United to sign him in January and that, because reportedly, Napoli have ended their interest and stuff. Napoli ended their interest in that. And I don't know how much it would cost. I think maybe the beneficial thing about recommending Erling Haaland is that obviously, he's played under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's guidance during his short period with Mould, and maybe Solskjaer is keen on reuniting with the player. He is only 19 years of age, so he's another player on our agenda, plus he's a striker. Jadon Sancho is also, still on our agenda. Don't forget, we was in for Jadon Sancho during the summer. We also identified him as our number 1 priority target back in January. But our move got skewered for Jadon Sancho. Obviously, with our failure to qualify for the Champions League. Again, if Jadon Sancho was to come in, I would be excited about the prospects of Sancho playing alongside the likes of Rashford, Daniel James, Anthony Martial, would be fantastic indeed. He complement them, I do believe, and he is predominantly a right winner. Only 19 years of age. I think Sancho is uncertain about his future at the moment. He's predominantly a right winner. Can also, you can play him centrally. But during his couple of years with Borussia Dortmund, he's obviously his valuation has persistently grown, because Borussia Dortmund, when they signed him, they got him for next to no from Manchester City. He did have a couple of seasons with Man City, but obviously never really got assured first team opportunities. So this is the reason why I left City to join Borussia Dortmund and that. So he's still on our agenda. Don't get me wrong. If we're going for him next year, he will cost the club a substantial amount of money. We'll probably have to pay in the excess of around £100 million. I do believe for him. There's talk saying that we could go back in for Christian Eriksen next year. Don't forget, we went in for Christian Eriksen during the summer. We actually, went in for him towards the back end of the window. But if you do remember rightly, we ended talks with Christian Eriksen, because I think Tottenham were demanding too much for him, basically. Don't forget, Christian Eriksen's contract expires at the end of the season. So Tottenham are at risk of losing him on a free transfer. He's well Premier League proven. I think he's in his late 20s, is Christian Eriksen. He's 27, 28 or something like that. He's been in the Premier League years. He's been at Tottenham 6 years. He's now into his 7th season as a Tottenham player. Obviously Tottenham did get him for around £11 million from Ajax back in 2013. Predominantly an attacking midfielder as well. So do you think he would be the right calibre player for Man United? I do believe he would be. He's obviously, being linked to Real Madrid. I think during the summer, his actual preference was to make a move to Real Madrid. So he's another player on our agenda. So there's a variety of players, like I mentioned, on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's agenda and that. But Solskjaer, anyway, has been assured he will be given money to spend in January. So like I said, I do believe the players that I do need to go. Young needs to move on. Matic needs to also, go next year, because he's enjoyed a really difficult time with Manchester United. He's now into his 3rd season as a Manchester United player. He's Matic. Don't think he's far away now from making a century of appearances for the club. Matic has initially lost his place in the team. Basically to McTominay, and that obviously McTominay now is our preference over Matic. But Matic has lost his place in the team because obviously he's due to his inconsistency. Plus he's now 31 years of age. He is getting older. But for me, he's too slow. Makes that midfield look totally imbalanced, and he's too easily predictable. So I do also want to add that into the equation. But yeah, problematic player. We also need to get rid of Phil Jones. I think again it was a bad mistake from the football club, giving him that new long-term contract last season. Jones again has been a long-serving player at the football club. Jones is now into his ninth season as a Man United player, but he has been here 8 years. But yeah, he needs to be moved on. And if we can get rid of him next year, we can cash in for the player. We've still got a lot of centre-halves in the team, despite, the dismissal of Chris Smalley. We have still got around 6 centre-halves in the team. Obviously, Marcus Rojo, I think, we're reluctant to let him go in January, so we're preventing him from leaving the club in January, because I think he was actually, close, to leaving Manchester United in the summer. Don't forget Everton had inquired about getting him. I think quite a few other teams went in for him, but I think, it was mainly, Everton, we wanted around 25 million. Obviously, Everton and Man United, couldn't come to an agreement on a fee. So Rojo ended up, staying at the football club. But I think Solsjaker has revealed the reason why he wants to keep hold of Rojo, even though he isn't really a first choice. Rojo's just got on the 2 years left on his contract with Man United. He's obviously sustained quite a few injuries, during his tenure with the football club. But yeah, I don't think he's going to be leaving in January. Some Man United fans, believe he does need to be moved on. Jesse Lingard, I've been hearing some people saying that maybe we need to get rid of him because he's enjoyed a really difficult time this season. As Lingard, his performances have been really really poor. He hasn't performed to the standards as we all expect from him. And like I said, reflecting on his status at the football club, he should be putting much more better performances out. But he has been a huge disappointment. As Jesse Lingard. For me, they're the players that I do need to be moved. Maybe moved on. Maybe with Lingard, for my perception on Lingard, even though he's been inconsistent, I'd still say he's a long-term solution for Man United. Some people are saying, we should play Juan Mata on a regular basis. In the Premier League, that is. He has played a few times this season as Mata. Obviously, he operated in that number 10 against Partizan Belgrade yesterday. Obviously, he's initially lost his place in the team anyway. He isn't really first choice anymore. But, some people believe he doesn't, suit that number 10 role. Some people believe, we should put him on the right because he can play in number 10. And, you can, obviously, you can put Juan Mata out on the right. But I think he's enjoyed a great career so far with Man United as Juan Mata. He's now into his 6th season as a Manchester United player. Don't forget, we did give him a new contract during the summer, which was actually no surprise, because I thought he was going to leave during the course of the summer. I think Juan Mata is now 31 years of age, by the way, so he's also, aging up. So maybe he might try and put Juan Mata back on the right, to see, how he can perform. But I thought he was quite good in the game yesterday, to be quite honest with you. But that's mainly, everything to update you with. So like I said, this is your Man United Brighton preview. So your Man United Brighton preview. Obviously, I've interpreted some of the stuff that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer mentioned during his press conference. He revealed that he arrested Daniel James because he's obviously overplayed him. He, praised Mason Greenwood, throughout the press conference and that. He was pleased there, with the game yesterday. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.